too low. Right? They've been working on that Walnut Grove area for seems like a decade. And they want you to drive 45 miles per hour on the expressway. Now, in my opinion, the expressway means what? Speed. Right? If you want to go 45 miles per hour, you'll be on the street. Right? And so anytime police now are setting up on the expressway to pull you over, that's a sign that something is wrong. Right? And so I did a little bit of investigating. And what I realized was, city of Memphis is the B word. Anybody know what that B word is? Okay, she said it, not me. All right? But I want you guys to understand, they have units and cars that they've invested in. Not only they're giving you speeding tickets, but if these police officers, they don't give you tickets. What they do is, if they find you looking at your phone while you're driving, they're now pulling you over for that, because you can potentially cause an accident. I think that's a good idea, but the thought of continuing to give people tickets so the city can continue to generate money, that becomes a problem, because guess who has to pay for that? You guys. It's people losing their jobs because they have to take off for jobs they just started on. They have to go down there and stand in those long lines. Who has that kind of time? Who wants to dedicate their entire Friday or Tuesday or whatever it is to go to 201 for a ticket? What if I told you never have to worry about doing that again? How many people get excited? Right? Legal Shield affords you the opportunity to have attorneys that go on your behalf. Now, I was excited about the speeding tickets because last year I received 6. This year already I've received 2. I am not endorsing or advocating that you leave here and speed and get speeding tickets. Okay? But what I am saying, if that is you and it happens, as long as it happens 15 days after you enroll, so for the first 15 days, drive real safe. Then on the 16th day, drive how you need to. But in my case, I've got no tickets. I got one in Atlanta. I'm on business. I'm not driving back to Atlanta until I get ready to do some more what? Business. But guess who went to court on my behalf? Legal Shield. The attorneys here paid an attorney in the state in Georgia to represent me, and I was still here building my business. This is a letter I received, one of the letters I received last year. This letter advised you that I appeared in Memphis City Court and a traffic ticket against you was dismissed without cause and will not appear on your driver record. Isn't that not huge? Now, for you 25 and younger drivers, or you parents that have teenage drivers on your insurance, you realize this type of stuff can cost you an arm and a leg. So not only are we protecting you legally, we're teaching you how to lower your insurance rate. Isn't that great? You think you should do that? The major things that happen when you drive. You ever been driving and someone jumped in front of you and it was their fault? What if the front of your car ended up in the backseat of their car and somebody died as a result of that? Do you realize that your insurance policy has a loophole that doesn't cover you? Because that now has become a crime. And when you have a crime, you need a who? An attorney. That's what Legal Shield is going to step in and do for you as well, okay? Then we have what's called 24 hours, 7 days emergency access recovery situations. Do you guys realize that bad things happen after office hours? Right? Even if you had a brother that was an attorney, could you call him Christmas Eve? No. Because the police was harassing you. I don't think he want to hear from you. Even if you had a best friend that was an attorney, and something happened, I'm sure you can't call him at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So it doesn't matter who you know that's an attorney. I'm talking about you having your own provider law firm to represent you as well as your family. Think about it like this. If you're ever in a situation where the police is trying to question, detain, or arrest you, would you guys consider that an emergency? Yes. What if the authorities came to your home and they're trying to remove your child from your custody because someone witnessed you whooping your child and they now call that beating? Right? Now they want to take the child so they can investigate the situation to see if they're in an abusive household. What happens at that moment? That's called a what? Emergency. Okay? And so you want to have this. And Legal Shield is not going to just cover you, but they're going to cover your entire family for these emergencies, as well as trial defense. Trial defense is huge because we live in a very litigious society. It used to be a time where they call us USA. Now they call us what? Suicide. Because of the people can sue you for anything. I was speaking to a guy earlier today, and he said the student loan mafia was after him. They were after him so bad that they no longer was calling his house or his phone. They was calling through his job, right? That's sad. But So things happen. So if you ever find yourself on the other end of a lawsuit, wouldn't it not feel good to have an attorney that already prepaid, ready to advise you in this situation? Would that not give you some piece of concern? This also covers job-related criminal charges. If you're in a situation, so if you're a doctor in here, a nurse in here, you deal with teachers, when you deal with students, you work at a daycare, those are all type of jobs. Or if you just work with people around material, right? Those are the type of situations where you can find yourself in a criminal situation. What if something came up missing, right? One of the children at the daycare that you're supposed to be watching, right? They could be considered a what? Job-related criminal charge. What if some of the material that you were dealing with on the line came up short? Then what happens? That's what? Job-related criminal charge. Legal Shield is going to give you 75 hours up front. Each year that you keep the service, it becomes more attractive because in your 5th year, you're going to max out well over 335 trial defense hours. That's a lot of time. Think about it. Mike Tyson, when he went to trial, right? When he started, I was in kindergarten. When he ended, I was in 12th grade, graduating. That trial lasted a long time. How many people remember that Bronco? I mean a long time. But you guys realize it never lasted more than 335 hours. So that's value that you guys are leaving here with tonight. Everybody get out of hand. And then what about IRS issues, right? How many people know if you put THE in front of IRS, it stands for theirs? Anybody knew that? Now, I want you guys to understand that IRS don't go after people that they feel like are poor, right? Because poor people can't afford to pay an attorney or them, so it doesn't matter. They don't go after people they consider wealthy. Why? Because wealthy people have access to who? An attorney. Who do they go after? People like you and me, middle-class working Americans. Why? Because we make enough where we don't make enough where we can go get an attorney, but yeah, we make enough where we can go out and get that good payment plan that they offer. I did a sit down a few days ago, and one of my clients' father, he said his wife works for the IRS. And she said the IRS have some of the laziest people that work there. Because all they do is sit down all day and make mistakes. I was in awe. She's been working there 30 years, and for her to say that, I was like, wow. So think about it. People make mistakes, right? So if they send you a letter and saying you're being audited, do you know this day forward you don't have to believe them? You don't have to take it at face value. You can call Legal Shield, allow them to investigate it for you. And if you owe them, pay them. But what if you don't owe them? One of our members was audited for over $19,000. Legal Shield stepped in and did a re-audit. Well, he realized that the tax preparer filled out his taxes on the wrong form. They made the correction, sent it back into the IRS. He did not owe the $19,000, but the IRS owed him a little over $5,000. Than to need it and not have access to it. Because an average tax attorney is going to cost you $500 an hour. The average American don't make $500 a week, okay? And so also, what about 25% member discount? How many people love a discount? Discounts are huge, right? That's why ladies in the summer we're buying fur boots, right? Right? Why? Because we get them for what? A discount. See, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep, right? $1 saved is $1 made. And so with this service, we cover anything and everything. No matter what you go through in your life, it's going to fall under one of these areas of coverage, okay? It's either going to fall at 100% or we're going to take you and give you a 25% member discount. Even if you're sitting here tonight and you already have a pre-existing situation, we're still going to cover you and give you that 25% member discount. How many people would say that this service makes sense? Raise your hand. Make a lot of sense, right? And so imagine for me, real quick, any guests in the room, raise your hand. Guess, okay. All right, what's your last name? Jones? Shaw? What about over here?
Shelton.
She said Shelton. I like that. Oh, and associates. All right. So I want you guys to pretend for a second that you're one of the most prestigious law firms in the state of Tennessee. And I came into your office and I asked that you cover me in certain areas. But this is the thing. I want you to cover me as a member, my spouse, okay? Now this says any child up to the age of 21, any child whom I have legal guardianship to the age of 18, any full-time student to the age of 23, so parents in the room that have college students, this covers your child all the way to the age of 23, or physically or mentally challenged children. So I want you to cover all this, but this is my situation. It's me, my husband, I have 10 kids and 2 on the way, so I'm pregnant with twins. Maybe trips, not sure. This is what I want you to do. First thing I want you to do is give me a 1-800 number that I can call your firm Monday through Friday and get any legal questions or concerns answered. And if I call you with a question that you don't know the answer to, I need you to hang up the phone and research it. Get back to me within 8 hours, okay? I also need you to write letters and make phone calls on my behalf. I'm a businesswoman. I don't have time to spend hours, not long days, trying to get an issue resolved. I need you to step in, make that call on my behalf, or write the letter for me. And I also want you to review any contract and documentation before I sign my husband or any of my kids. I don't want nobody in my household signing anything unless your firm gives us permission to. And then on top of that, I need you to give me a will. As you see, I already got 10 kids with 2 on the way. Each year, I may continue to add kids. So with that being said, I need you to continue to update my will at no additional cost. You guys getting this? What if I get a speeding ticket? I've already gotten 6 last year, 2 this year. So based on past, I may just get 4 to 6 more. Okay? Every time I get a ticket, I want you to go to court for me. If I'm out of state, out of what I'm paying you, I want you to pay an attorney out of state to represent me. I don't want to pay you anything additional outside of what we agreed upon at this end. You guys calculating this? Yeah. All right, then I need about 50 hours of the best tax attorney's time. So if I get out of it, I can just transfer my situation over to him. He takes care of it on my behalf. And then I need about $15,000 in another account. Reason being, because if I get sued or my job says I did something that I didn't do, I want to already have about $15,000 already prepaid for my first year with you guys, okay? And on top of that, I need a discount. Anything that I can't mention right now and it comes up outside of this agreement, I need you to still take it because I don't have to go to anybody else. And then on top of that, give me a 25% discount. And if I had to come, and on top of that, I need each one of you guys to buy a cell phone or pager, especially for the Smith family. Because if I call you at 2 a.m. on a Sunday, 3 p.m. on a Saturday, I don't care if it's Super Bowl. I don't care if you're at the nail shop. I need you to roll out of there, be coherent, and help me, my husband, my 10 kids, and 2 on the way, and any legal situation that we should ever get into. If I had to stroke you 1 check a month, how much would the check have to be for? How much would it have to be for? It's a lot of money. I'm asking for a lot of stuff. And not to mention, it's about 5 of y'all in this partnership. But you have all other attorneys that you have to pay as well. So if you guys had to just throw out a number, how much would it be? No wrong or right answer, because guess what? I have Oprah Winfrey money. So I'm not looking for a discount. I'm looking for some real service. How much would you charge? Anybody out there can help them? A month on a monthly basis.
About $3,000.
About, oh, that's low, okay. Now that means that you guys are going to get about $200 and some a piece a month to represent me and my family and all that. Is that enough? She said, what is it? She said $1 million. Y'all really in litigation on that price, honey. Because I'm having too many kids, ain't it? You know what? I want you guys to understand that these are things that people ask for, right? This is what you're getting when you sign on for our services. And so, there's one more thing that I want to add real quick is identity theft. Identity theft is the #1 fastest growing crime that exists right now. Do you realize that identity theft is more forms than just your credit? How many people do that? People can compromise your medical information. Because think about it, your information is already out there. Anybody ever went out and filled out a job application before? Raise your hand. Did you ever fill out a job application at a job and you didn't get the job? Raise your hand. Did you go back and get your application? No. So that means you left it in the hands of people that you didn't even know. So for those in this room that's saying, I safeguard my information. I don't put the flag up at my mailbox. I shred everything. It's not about you shredding things. It's about you safeguarding the information that you already gave other people. It's so many areas of identity theft. The first area, medical. That's a huge thing, okay? Having medical identity theft. That's a huge thing. Reason being is somebody compromises your information. They go downtown, they take an AIDS test of your name. What happens when the test comes back positive and it's showing your medical history that you have AIDS and it's not even you? Say you're in an accident. You get rushed to the hospital. You type O, somebody else was type B, right? And now your medical files have been conflicted and they give you the wrong type of blood. Do you realize that that's the identity theft that can potentially kill you? What about Social Security identity theft? Will someone use your social, they go out and get a job in Texas, which is the largest state with the #1 have illegal people working, right? What happens when they file exempt? They get paid all year. At the end of the year, who owes taxes? You, right? And then driver's license. Someone gets tickets in your name. They get a mandatory court appearance. They don't show up because it wasn't them. You get stopped because you speed, because you admitted it, right? So you were speeding as usual, but you get stopped. And now that speeding ticket just went, so you're now having to go to jail for something that you didn't do. And so it's so many areas of identity theft, okay? So these are some of the things that we do. The first thing we're going to cover is you as well as your spouse. So you're in here, you have a husband, a wife, or significant other. Both of you guys are going to be covered. It's two types of plans. We have a standard as well as a premium. Let's talk about the standard plan. We're going to cover